وهيدا صوت اللي بيرتي
هادئة جدا.
Good afternoon. You're watching the English newscast on Future Television. I'm Linda Tamim, and these are today's top stories. Hezbollah's top commander Mustafa Badreddin is killed in an attack in Syria. A funeral will be held at 5:30 p.m. local time in the southern Al-Beiri suburb. Lebanon's financial prosecutor indicts 3 high-level officials at the state-owned Ojero telecommunications company. And Al-Qaeda fighters and their allies killed 19 civilians from President Bashar al-Assad's Alawite minority in their own homes after seizing their village in central Syria. Hezbollah's top commander Mustafa Badreddin has been killed in an attack in Syria, in a major blow to the organization that has played a key role in defending the regime of President Bashar al-Assad. Hezbollah said the great jihadi leader Badreddin, whose nom de guerre was Zulfikar, had died in a big explosion that targeted one of its bases near Damascus airport. It said it was working to define the nature of the explosion and its cause and whether it was the result of an airstrike, a missile, or artillery. It did not say when the attack happened, however. Unconfirmed reports said an Israeli air raid targeted a Hezbollah arms convoy on the border near the Beirut-Damascus highway on Tuesday night, but Hezbollah at the time denied the reports. There was no immediate comment from Israel. Hezbollah leaders and supporters have gathered in Beirut's southern suburbs to offer prayers and condolences over the assassination of the group's commander Mustafa Badreddin. People converged on Al-Mushtaba compound in the neighborhood of Sfair in Beirut's southern suburbs to praise the late commander. Speaker Nabih Berri reportedly expressed his condolences in a phone conversation with Hezbollah Secretary General Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah. Hezbollah MP Nawar Sahili said, quote, "It is the martyrdom that the great leader deserved, and it will remain an open war." Hezbollah MP Ali Miqdad also mourned Badreddin, remembering him as a man of great achievements. Industry Minister Hussein Haj Hassan, for his part, said that Badreddin's martyrdom will stimulate the resistance to remain on the path of jihad. Hezbollah said it will hold Badreddin's funeral at 5:30 p.m. local time in the southern Al-Beiri suburb. Interior Minister Nahad Mashnout has called on governors across Lebanon to guarantee and facilitate the access to voters with disabilities in the upcoming municipal elections. Mashnout issued a statement calling on the heads of the Mount Lebanon, South Lebanon, North Lebanon, Akkad and Nabatieh governorates to provide for all the needs of people with disabilities during this month's local polls. The minister had received criticism over the lack of preparedness of polling stations to receive handicapped voters in last Sunday's election in Beirut and the Bekaa Valley. Local polls will continue throughout the month of May for the rest of Lebanon. Lebanese forces leader Samir Jaja has criticized what he said were attempts to destabilize Lebanon's banking sector in a clear allusion to Hezbollah. Jaja said in a statement, quote, "The country's banking sector remained resilient and prosperous despite the situation in the region, the political atmosphere during the past 10 years and the paralysis over the past 2 years. He praised the central bank's measures for maintaining its stability and added, "All that we were missing is some sides attempting to destabilize the last economic sector that is withstanding conflict in Lebanon." Hezbollah ministers had urged Prime Minister Tamam Slam during a cabinet session to resist U.S. pressure to implement financial sanctions against the group after banks closed the accounts of two-party MPs. Future Movement leader MP Saad Hariri and former Prime Minister Najib Mikati held a rare meeting on Thursday, weeks before the municipal elections in the northern city of Tripoli and Akkad. Prime Minister Tamam Slam hosted the two officials over dinner at his Msaitbi residence in Beirut, and a statement at the end of the meeting said they stressed the need to bolster unity among Lebanese factions without exception because Lebanon needs to fortify its internal front given the explosive regional situation. Hariri and Mikati underlined Salam's initiative to hold the municipal and mayoral polls. The statement said they hope this initiative will lead to staging other elections, namely the presidential and parliamentary ones. Lebanon's financial prosecutor has indicted 3 high-level officials at the state-owned Ojero telecommunications company. Judge Ali Ibrahim indicted the 3 officials over negligence that led to squandering public funds and evading taxes. by allowing some people to set up unlicensed internet in the country, and referred the case to Beirut's first investigative judge, Ghassan Awaidat. The indictment came swiftly after a media report said that Telecommunications Minister Boutros Harib had granted judiciary permission to pursue Ojero head Abdel Munaim Youssef and two other high-ranking officials over their alleged links to the country's illegal internet network scandal. Ojero had been at the center of the unlicensed internet scandal, with 8 people so far arrested in the case and many more charged in absentia. Italian President Sergio Mattarella has arrived at the head of a delegation in Lebanon for a one-day visit. He headed directly to the south to meet with his country's force operating under UNIFIL command, and was later expected to meet with senior Lebanese officials. A source at Beirut's International Airport said Mattarella will meet with Parliament Speaker Nabih Berri and Prime Minister Tamam Slam and discuss the latest local and regional developments. He will also meet with Maronite Patriarch Shara Rai. Mattarella was greeted at the airport by Defense Minister Samir Muqbil, Italian Ambassador to Lebanon Massimo Maruti, as well as other officials. Al-Qaeda fighters and their allies shot dead 19 civilians from President Bashar al-Assad's Alawite minority in their own homes after seizing their villages in central Syria. Other villagers were kidnapped following the assault, in which 8 pro-regime militiamen were killed trying to defend Al-Zara in Hama province. State news agency Sana condemned the massacre of villagers in Hama, which, like neighboring Homs province, is mainly Sunni but has a significant Alawite minority. The 5-year civil war in Syria has inflamed sectarian resentment between the country's Sunni majority and the Alawite minority that is the main prop of the Assad regime. And coming up next, a petition against companies forcing female employees to wear high heels to work reaches more than 100,000 signatures in the UK. More details coming up next. Welcome back. 8 Turkish soldiers and 22 Kurdish militants have been killed in clashes over the last 2 days as violence widened in the largely Kurdish southeast following 2 bombings. After the collapse of a ceasefire between the Kurdistan Workers' Party, known as PKK, and the government last July, Turkey's southeast has seen some of its worst fighting since the height of the Kurdish insurgency in the 1990s. President Tayyip Erdogan said the violence and a concurrent threat from ISIS militants justifies Turkey's broad anti-terror laws, which have become a sticking point with the EU in talks about a landmark deal to stem the flow of illegal immigrants to Europe. Speaking of which, charities Save the Children have drawn attention to the lives of children involved in the migrant crisis by releasing a viral video showing the plight of a fictionalized British girl fleeing the UK. Called "Still the Most Shocking Second a Day," the video was made as a follow-up to the video "Most Shocking Second a Day" video released by the charity in 2014. Since being posted online on Monday, the most current release has been viewed more than 230,000 times. Check it out.
Top story tonight, as the terrorist rebellion enters another year.
Country's just not safe anymore. We've got to leave.
Into the deep dark.
The fighting's getting closer.
That's the hospital.
Camps have been raided.
Merry Christmas.
Get out of there!
How are we supposed to get from there to there? Just take the things that you need. See you there.
City under siege.
Constant beating.
We've only got enough for one.
Oh my God.
I will find you.
You'll bring me when you get there. I'm not getting on the boat without you.
Help Moses.
His parents drowned. Just turn on. Please. Mum's got to keep going.
Just stop!
Quickly. Come on. I want my mummy and Papi. I'm not hungry.
I Are you related?
No. I mean, take it.
We found a family for Alfie.
He's all I've got left. 60th of May 2003.
It's today happy birthday. Hope you made a wish. And what are your parents' names?
3 gunmen opened fire overnight on a cafe in northern Iraq where young men had gathered at the start of the weekend, killing at least 12 and wounding 25. The assailants in the town of Balad, north of Baghdad, sprayed machine gun fire from their cars for around 10 minutes before speeding off. Hours later, a suicide bomber set off his explosive vest at a nearby vegetable market after police and Shiite militia members cornered him in a disused building and exchanged gunfire. 4 were killed and 2 critically wounded. There was no immediate claim of responsibility for the attacks. A petition fighting against companies forcing female employees to wear high heels to work has reached more than 100,000 signatures in the United Kingdom. Nicola Thorpe was sent home from her temporary job as a secretary for refusing to wear shoes with heels. Here's her testimony.
Employers are allowed to impose different dress codes for men and women, which is fair enough, as long as that dress code doesn't favour one of the sexes. Now, my point is, I think that by making women wear high heels, you're acting favourably towards men because their footwear doesn't affect their posture, their ability to move. It doesn't create long-term health problems. There's this horrible contradiction in your head between, actually it's a small deal, wear the heels, earn money, but there's such a bigger issue. And you're conflicted because I had rent to pay, I had bills to pay, but I also wanted to keep, my integrity. So I did. I understand that at present they have a right to distinguish between male and female, but I want to ask them, what does wearing heels have to do with being female? And what does wearing makeup have to do with being female? I think the gender lines are blurring even more than ever before. There's a history behind heels and the damage that it can do to women, and there's a sexualised element to it. I can't believe it, it was at 4,000 this morning, so to have 6,000 in the space of 6 hours is incredible, and I didn't think it would even reach 10. Now we're going to get a response from the government. I'm going to push for the 100,000 and then some, so that we can get this brought up in Parliament, because as I said, it's not just about heels, this is a women's rights issue.
This marks the end of our bulletin for today. Now for a reminder of our top stories. Hezbollah's top commander Mustafa Badreddin is killed in an attack in Syria. The funeral will be held at 5:30 p.m. local time in the southern Ghubairi suburb. Lebanon's financial prosecutor indicts 3 high-level officials at the state-owned Ojero Telecommunications company. And Al-Qaeda fighters and their allies killed 19 civilians from President Bashar al-Assad's Alawite minority in their own homes after seizing their village in central Syria. Those are your headlines in English for today. The news continues in French here at Future Television right next.
وهيدا صوت اللي بيرتي
هادئة جدا.